Belief and business. There is a episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. I think the number of the episode is 2259. But the speaker, the guest, is Thomas Campbell. He is the latest person that I've been learning from for the last year, 2 years. He has me thinking about how thoughts, feelings, and emotions result in manifestations. But let's be specific. Let's go to the hour and 37th minute of the episode with Joe Rogan. My notes say Thomas Campbell's larger consciousness system framework is very similar to the attributes of God provided by pastors, except the system Campbell describes is natural, not perfect, but still evolving and becoming. Not infinite. Again, it's natural. Number 4 is not instantaneous. Not instantaneous, knowing all things. It must focus through by intention. Again, Thomas Campbell's larger consciousness system framework is very similar to the attributes of God provided by pastors, except the system Campbell describes is 1, natural, 2, not perfect, but it's still evolving and becoming. Number 3, not infinite. Again, it's natural. Number 4, not instantaneous. Not instantaneously knowing all things, but must be focused through by intention. Now let's go into the hour and 39th minute. Campbell says, we are emerging. We are in the process of becoming. He suggests further in that minute, where we need to be is where all of us are kind and caring. I bring that point up because in other past videos I made the point that business is the human form of warfare within our current society. Possibly business is the human form of warfare, but just within our current society and our structure. Some of you this is possibly from a business perspective. Again, I have a master's degree in business. I've been in the marketplace, self-employed for over 10 years. Perhaps some of you are playing by rules and guidelines that have been given to you to keep you within a line, a box, so that you do not take too much market share. To maybe keep your purchasing power and your influence and your freedom down. For example, for those of you that are employees, they can promote you and train you via on the job training, or they can put you in a training program, or they can hire somebody else that already has that experience. No method is going to be perfect solution for your employer, but what they do demonstrates their intentions for you. There's an open slot available. What's more important to your employer, your manager? Performance at a high level now, or continuing the relationship with a current existing employee, training and developing, giving them other opportunity with a new role via on-the-job training. Training and development, another point, is I took a class undergrad. I was at Baylor, and a general conceptual stat that was given out was corporations and businesses invest very little of their budget into training and development. Training and development teaching is a skill set. Very different. People can do it, but doesn't mean they like doing it, or they're gifted at it, or they're structured at it, or that they're enough time in their schedule to do it well. I'll keep giving examples with this. After my master's degree in business, I studied carpentry and construction management in college. I've done a lot of supporting roles on job sites. The last 5 years. There's very little time within an 8-hour period when the sun's up. That's when most homes are remodeled, to teach, train, and develop. I've seen many times, many different job sites, many different types of people. They'll come into a job site and they'll tell the general contractor they can do X, Y, and Z. They told them that on the phone the day before. And they come in and they spend 2 hours fumbling around with a task, and then they're fired because they lied. They can't do the work. And the general contractor doesn't have time or skill to teach them how to do it. The contractor might not even know how to do that particular trade either. Deeper further within this thought process is the construction industry. Someone told me one time, I was adjusting claims for me and the contractor had a mutually shared client. He said the construction industry is filled with addicts, many addicts and many ex-convicts. So their minds are a little different, and they are. The construction industry is not filled with people who are gifted at teaching, training, and developing. So whenever you enter an industry, whether as an investor, business owner, employee, manager, become aware and conscious of the trends in that industry, the profiles of the typical participants. For example, when you're interacting with, thinking about hiring a lawyer, or you're dealing with lawyers, many of them are political science majors. So how they got to where they are, how they function, how they learn. A lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of arguing. A lot of the training is how to navigate through gray areas, as opposed to somebody who has a math major and it was straight numbers. It is or it isn't. Back to my notes. I have these notes here, and it says, this is my thoughts. So it says, insects that transform via camouflage often stop moving and then get ran over as they try and conform to the situation in order to survive instead of take action. This concept is the same with humans. It's called chameleons within the marketplace, within a corporation, within a job. Chameleons try to fit in, but eventually, I think that they get crushed out by what they allow to happen to them. You are what you are, and that will eventually be exposed. Often it's exposed. So back to the Thomas Campbell thing. There's another story on the internet. You can look it up. It's called The Story of the Egg. And I'm not saying that theory of life, that philosophical view portrayed in The Story of the Egg is accurate. But if it is, then maybe, my notes say maybe life or God or whatever supports and allows the killing off of itself so that what remains is more consciousness, more love and awareness. Further, think of it from an ego self perspective. It's a loving thing for an overweight person to cut off, kill off, lose excess weight. Same could apply to life, removing, eliminating unevolved versions of itself. So, The Story of the Egg, look into that. It suggests something as if we're all one. And if we're all one, those who aren't the most loving, aren't seeking to be, are kind of cowardly, kind of chameleons, those who don't help others evolve by teaching. They don't make it, if you can't happens all the time in the construction industry. If you're not teaching, training, and developing, when someone's sick, your lead guy, he's sick, can't come in, or doesn't come in because he's drunk. Production suffers. Profit is lost. Profit diminishes, decreases. You haven't been training and developing others. You haven't been teaching and training your helpers to be lead people. You haven't taken the time out to do that. There hasn't been time available because you've been serving consumers, homeowners that have a budget that's less limited. You've been on another thought. There's a lot of people doing YouTube, a lot of people presenting online, and I've noticed a trend. The ones that are uneducated in the field they're talking about, they're well dressed, they got suits, they're doing this and that. But how they got to where they are, how they made their money, their backgrounds are very sometimes illegal, sometimes sketchy. And then there's people like me talking about business, looking just very simply plain dress with a master's degree in business. So when you're learning from people, don't get just, maybe I recommend become aware, conscious of someone's intentions, become aware, conscious of how prepared someone is to talk about something. What's their education in it? What's their experience in it? And are they talking? Why are they talking? To get you to watch for ad sales? Get you to buy a program? Again, this platform is a platform where I intend for you to watch the content, ask questions, apply what you learn, generate a profit in your marketplace, and then after you have your profit experience realized, come back and notify me, and then please share some of what you've gained. I'm investing into you, I'm trusting you to listen, learn, apply, and then contribute. It's a new model, it's a different model. But I believe and feel and think that it's the most harmonious way regarding consulting and guiding people with the intangibles.